A second chance at life. When we are born into this world, upon our arrival we find ourselves within a system that has long been in play. A system that near the entire populace has assumed as their very identity, seemingly without question. You grow up within this system, adapting to its ways, blending in and inevitably becoming another insignificant piece in someone else's twisted game of life. Much more than often, this is the way people's lives will carry on until their last breath. And the reason that the majority of an entire populace could go centuries upon centuries living these seemingly meaningless lives is due to the absence and suppression of life's most fundamental knowledge, which is mankind's connection to its own inner nature and the world surrounding. This system that we find ourselves within has very intentionally bred this self-knowledge out of the perceived reality, mentally, physically, genetically. This being the reason why, more than often, the modern individual can never awaken to their true potential, which would enable them to manifest and experience a much higher quality of life. One where the innumerable unseen and unacknowledged influences would not have complete sway over them, because they would no longer be in the dark and oblivious to their existence and constant influence upon our behavior and perspective. But for those old souls who find themselves unlocking the esoteric secrets of life and embodying an awareness which rises above the blind submission that is all around them, an entirely new experience is possible and at your fingertips. The life that we all deserve to live, one could accurately call it a second chance at life. Of course, this message will only be received by those who are meant to see it. Friends and acquaintances that have synchronized their way to these words, which in essence are missed by the masses in one form or the other all around the world. But to you I say, never take for granted the absolute privilege and responsibility of possessing the awareness necessary to begin perceiving and interacting with the many areas of our existence which have been so thoroughly hidden. This knowledge holds the key to any kind of hopeful future. The power is in our hands, individually and collectively. We did not come to this point for no reason. It is our responsibility to carefully, lovingly, and with good intent embody this knowledge and keep it alive, constantly applying it to the conduct of our everyday lives, and by aiding those who we come across that are seeking this connection, in whatever way required, to help seize that spark of divinity within them and live the highest quality of life possible. Only when we mentally and spiritually rise above the system we found ourselves within can we begin to see it for what it truly is and begin to shape this reality into something beautiful, which will yield growth, awareness, and spiritual development. For the individual who is in the midst of a spiritual awakening, it can be easy to get overwhelmed by the endless mass of occult knowledge that they find themselves within. Certainly, it can be intimidating, but it is important to not let this discourage you or put you off of the experience. Once you set your intentions upon seeking knowledge, you will find that certain pieces of information and certain concepts will make their way into your life through various circumstances, synchronicity, and relationships, and more than often, it will be exactly what you needed to learn at that point in time. One soon realizes that all these different esoteric perspectives and spiritual concepts eventually lead back to one another, and by taking them on as they come, you can piece them together one at a time like a puzzle. One piece of information leads you right to the next. Trust in your awareness and always be vigilant of when life is presenting the answers you have been seeking, for it may not always be in the way that you expected. In fact, it seldom is. But it still has a way of unfolding exactly as was necessary, to the T, chaotic precision, as I like to say. Written by Gage Timothy Krebs Ramirez and Inhabitants.